What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Bozeus. So today we're diving into something absolutely incredible. This is Wuchang Fallen Feathers, and trust me when I say this game is about to completely blow your mind. We've got Ming Dynasty warriors, supernatural curses, brutal Souls-like combat that actually feels fresh, and honestly, this might just be the Chinese gaming industry's next massive hit. So let's break down everything, and I mean everything, you need to know about this absolute masterpiece. Alright, so first things first, what exactly is Wuchang Fallen Feathers? Well, this beauty is coming from Leenzee Games, which is this 160-person team based in Chengdu. And honestly, these developers have been putting in some serious work. We're talking about 6 years of development, 6 years of historical research, and the result is this absolutely gorgeous action RPG that's launching July 24th, 2025. Now, here's where it gets interesting. This is published by 505 Games. It's hitting PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and get this, it's gonna be available on Game Pass from day one. Like, come on, that's fantastic value right there. The game's priced at $49.99 for the standard edition, $59.99 for deluxe, which honestly, in today's market where games are hitting $70 left and right, that's pretty competitive pricing, especially for what we're getting here. And look, I know what some of you might be thinking, oh great, another Souls-like game, but trust me, this one's different. This one's got something special cooking. So let's talk story, because honestly, this is where Wuchang really starts to shine. We're set in 1647, right during the collapse of the Ming Dynasty. And for those history buffs out there, you know this was an absolutely chaotic time in Chinese history. You play as Bai Wuchang, and that name is actually super significant. In Chinese mythology, Bai Wuchang is the white impermanence, basically this guide who leads souls to the underworld. Pretty metal, right? But here's the twist. Our protagonist wakes up with complete amnesia in this war-torn land called Shu, which is modern-day Sichuan province. And she's got this mysterious curse called the feathering disease, where blue feathers start sprouting from her left arm. It sounds bizarre, but it actually grants her these incredible supernatural powers. The developers didn't just make this stuff up either. They spent years researching classical Chinese literature. We're talking about the Annals of the Kings of Shu, the classic of mountains and seas, romance of the Three Kingdoms. Like, they really did their homework here. And the story isn't just some basic revenge tale. We've got multiple endings, political intrigue, mysterious puppet masters pulling strings behind the scenes, and this whole narrative about memory, identity, and what it means to be human when you're cursed with supernatural powers. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes, the gameplay. And honestly, this is where Wuchang completely revolutionizes what we expect from Souls-like combat. Most Souls games, right, you're blocking, you're timing your rolls, you're managing stamina, but Wuchang introduces a system called Skyborn Might that completely changes the game. Instead of just blocking attacks, you're rewarded for perfect dodges and precise timing. When you nail a perfect dodge, you get offensive bonuses and you charge up these magical abilities. We're looking at 25 unique weapons across 5 different categories. You've got everything from the starting Cloud Frost Edge Changdao to dual-wielded combinations that you can switch mid-combo. Each weapon has its own combat style, its own unique skills, and honestly, the variety here is just fantastic. But here's where it gets really interesting, the Heart Demon system. Every time you die, this feathering disease spreads more throughout your body. Higher corruption levels give you devastating abilities, but you also become way more vulnerable. It's this incredible risk-reward system where you become this glass cannon, dealing massive damage but also taking way more hits. And unlike most Souls games where you're stuck with your build choices, Wuchang lets you respec for free at shrines. Like, finally, a game that encourages experimentation instead of punishing you for trying new things. Visually, this game is absolutely stunning. They're using Unreal Engine 5, and instead of that typical Souls gray-brown palette that we're all used to, Wuchang is bursting with vibrant reds, greens, warm lighting. It's like visual candy. The developers actually used 3D scanning technology during their research. They scanned real artifacts from archaeological sites like Sangsing Dui and the Jinsha civilization, so when you see these historical elements in the game, they're based on actual ancient Chinese artifacts. Now, I gotta be honest with you guys. The system requirements are pretty demanding. You're looking at minimum specs of Intel i5-8400, GTX 1070, 16 gig RAM with an SSD required. Recommended specs jump up to i5-12600KF, RTX 3070, and 32 gig RAM. It's also getting DLSS 4 support with multi-frame generation, so if you've got high-end hardware like an RTX 5090, you'll be able to push 4K gameplay. The art direction evolves as you progress too. You start in these realistic historical settings and gradually move into these dreamlike mythological realms. Boss designs are directly inspired by Bronze Age Kingdom of Shu discoveries, and they're even incorporating elements from Sichuan face-changing opera into enemy design. So let's talk about where we stand with this release. The marketing push has been pretty significant throughout 2025. We saw a major debut at Summer Game Fest. We got that brutal Perfect Bride boss fight trailer in April, and pre-orders launched at the end of April. Microsoft has been pushing this pretty hard too, especially after they missed out on Black Myth Wukong. They've got Xbox partner preview showcases, and again, that day one Game Pass availability is huge. The pre-order bonuses include the Knight in White costume sets and the Vermilion War Club weapon. If you go for the deluxe edition, you get 4 additional costumes and 4 more weapons. Community buzz has been really positive so far. Steam metrics show 123,000 followers, which is well above the median for similar games. And here's a crazy stat. 60% of the people who've wishlisted this game have also played Black Myth Wukong. So they're definitely targeting that audience successfully. Alright, so let's talk hype levels and what we should realistically expect. The early preview impressions have been overwhelmingly positive. Tech Radar called it one of the most creative and interesting Souls-likes in years. Noisy Pixel said it's fun as hell and potentially the genre's new must-play for 2025. But I gotta keep it real with you guys. There are some concerns. Multiple preview outlets have mentioned that the difficulty might be a bit too punishing. Some reviewers died 20 plus times on single bosses, with Windows Central describing it as brutally punishing. There are also some technical polish questions. Basic movement animations outside of combat, some character model snapping during turns, and while we do have system requirements, those demanding specs I mentioned earlier could be a barrier for some players. The market is pretty saturated with Souls-like games right now, and some community members are calling it generic looking. Plus, as a new developer's first major international release, Leenzee Games is facing pretty high expectations, especially following Black Myth Wukong's success. But here's the thing. That competitive $49.99 pricing, the Game Pass inclusion, the unique cultural setting, it's positioned really well despite these concerns. So there you have it, everyone. That's everything you need to know about Wuchang Fallen Feathers. This game represents a significant cultural moment in gaming with authentic Chinese storytelling, innovative mechanics, and absolutely stunning visuals. Whether it can follow in Black Myth Wukong's footsteps depends on how well they balance that punishing difficulty with accessibility. But honestly, the early signs are pointing to something really special here. Are you excited for this one? Are you planning to grab it on Game Pass or go for that full purchase? Let me know in the comments below. Smash that like button if this breakdown helped you out, and make sure to subscribe because we've got tons more videos coming your way. This has been your boy from Bozoos, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.